Hey guys, the next strategy we would like to introduce is called apples and oranges. Now, this is a comparison strategy, and Marzano, Pickering, and Pollock said that research on effective instruction has found that strategies that engage students in comparative thinking had the greatest effect on student achievement. And while this is a great foundational critical thinking skill, the next logical step is to make the following decisions about those similarities and differences. Which are the most relevant to the unit of study and why? Which are the most interesting and informative and why? What's more important, the similarities or the differences? So this strategy is utilized to help students take acquired content and apply it in a manner that will strengthen their ability to determine central ideas from primary or secondary sources, help them organize both new and known information through comparing and contrasting events and people, citing textual evidence, developing higher level attribution to recognize characteristics or properties of any object, idea, or situation. Improving comprehension by highlighting important details and making abstract ideas more concrete, and utilizing a simple structure that helps organize information and develop ideas with greater clarity and precision. In your teacher's manual, you will see standards addressed. Here are the materials needed. You'll need primary and secondary sources, and you'll need several. And the student data notes that collected on the items for the event to be examined, the apples and oranges template, and the apple and oranges summary template, the argumentative piece. So there are two templates for this strategy. One is a web type template. If you can locate that in your teacher's manual now, that will help. The preparation and background for this. So you can pass out the blank template and have the students complete it, or you can go ahead and pre-fill out the web template here at the bottom, so you could fill those out. And you're going to select any of the four optimal possibilities. So, two historical periods or events. And so the students could be asking themselves, when did they occur? The dates and duration of those events. What happened or changed during each? Why are they significant? What kinds of work did people do? Another one would be two ideas or theories. What are they about? Did they originate at a particular time? Who created them? Who uses or defends them? Two pieces of writing or art. So what are the titles? What do they describe or depict? What is their tone or mood? Or two people. Where are they from? How old are they? What is the gender, race, class? What, if anything, are they known for? Do they have a relationship to each other? So those are some questions, and there's other questions in the teacher's manual that you can help focus your students on when they're comparing and contrasting the two items that you select. So here is the process. The first thing you want to do is to activate the students' prior knowledge about Venn diagrams, because they're going to be, by the time they get to the grade level they are with you, they will have had a lot of experience with Venn diagrams. This looks somewhat different, but it's still similar. So to activate that prior knowledge, you may want to have them do a whole class activity. You may want to have them to look at playing two different types of sports, or comparing yourself to the principal, or mammals to reptiles, playing an instrument or playing a sport. So activate their prior knowledge in some way. If you look in your teacher's manual, it gives you some ideas about that. You will distribute the apples and oranges template and any materials that they'll need to do the activity. And then you will provide the students with one of the four items from above that you've selected for them to compare. And so then you'll direct them to examine and analyze. But it's recommended the first time using this strategy, the teacher, you as a teacher, should provide helpful hints as to what to include. We don't want irrelevant responses like both of the people are alive or both are dead. Remind them that their responses, their analysis should be grade level appropriate. It takes a lot of scaffolding the first time you do this in order for this strategy to be useful in your future classes. After completing the apples and oranges template, then you've got a writing piece. So then you'll distribute the summary template, and the students are going to provide 2 reasons for why the items compared and contrasted are the most similar and different. And in this writing piece, this is when you want them to expound on what they have discovered. Don't accept short sentences. Make them explain, make them give supporting evidence. Doing this will make this strategy very useful in your classroom activities. The first time I give this strategy and explain this strategy to my students, the first thing they notice is that it looks a lot like a Venn diagram they've used in younger grades and earlier grades. So I have to explain to the students that that it's not going to be as simple. It's not going to be as simple as comparing and contrasting as a Venn diagram, because they're going to be required to write in complete sentences. There are no one-word answers. That you've got to think on, in this instance, they must think on a 6th grade student's level. We're not going to, for example, on women before the 19th Amendment and women after the 19th Amendment, we're going to think about their daily life. How did the 19th Amendment change their daily life? How did the 19th Amendment change their relationships? How did the 19th Amendment change in the way that they engaged in conversation? So it's much deeper. And so that is a conversation that you must have with your students when you first introduce this concept. On this particular strategy, my students work in groups. So I give them this. They've already studied. So this would be a strategy that I would use in this instance. After my students have talked about women before the 19th Amendment and the different types of women, their different lifestyles of women, the suffragists, the flappers, the Gibson girls. So my students have already talked about those women. We talk about the suffragist fight for the right to vote. We talk about the fathers, husbands, brothers in their lives and their thoughts on women voting. We analyze political cartoons. Then we also talk about how lives change. We talk about women running for office and things of that nature after the 19th Amendment was ratified. And then my students will get together and then they will talk about how the 2 different groups of women are different, how they're alike. There's a second page to this, and in my opinion, that's the most important page, and that's when they evaluate this template that they have worked together with their partner. Then that becomes an individual activity, and they analyze and they write incomplete sentences, complete thoughts, how the two ways these groups of women are most alike and most different. That part of the template is the part that I use as a formative assessment.